So they are supporting us. So real quick before we get started, I'm going to ask that you please do what you can to support the Joyce Theater. If you have a program, one of our Dance Fest programs, if you look on the back, not only will you see a picture of the beautiful Joyce Theater, there's a QR code. I'm going to hold this up so the folks at home, you can lift your phones and you can get that QR code. Please, anything you can give. I'm sure you're thinking, well, maybe I've only got $1 or $2. Hey, if everybody here gave a few dollars, that's just going to mean more programming for the Joyce Theater, more support, and then being able to help folks like us bring dance to folks like you. So please, take a minute. If you have that program, use the QR code and support the Joyce Theater. This should be a really engaging conversation. Danny spoke earlier today. It was eloquent, it was beautiful, and it was all about the mission of bringing art and dance to the community. So I'm going to get out of the way. Here's Zoe Henry, Danny G, talking about stuff.
Thank you so much, John. Stuff. Good stuff, though.
Yes, good stuff.
All right, so we're going to get to know our friend here, Danny G.
Yes.
So let's start with the question. You've traveled around the world. What are your favorite places?
Oh, my gosh. I guess I would have to start with my first international trip. I was a young dancer. I just joined the Ailey American Dance Theater. And in my performing arts school, we studied all kinds of cultures and European cultures all over the thing. And I was fascinated by Greece and Athens and the Parthenon. And my first tour stop with the company as a young dancer was Athens, Greece. And the theater where we performed sat right below the Parthenon and the Acropolis. And it was a famous ancient theater. And so I would have to say Athens was probably one of them. Cairo, Egypt was one of my all-time favorite places to visit. Paris, of course, Paris. But yeah, so many for many reasons. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the correlation here. Those places kind of helped inspire your work on stage as well.
Well, also, as I said earlier, traveling with the Ailey company, we traveled the world as ambassadors of dance, U.S. ambassadors to the world, and we had to really just represent ourselves in the highest level of excellence that we could. And being in some of the places where we performed, like Paris, for instance, we performed at the Grand Opera House, and so it sort of makes you want to be the best performer that you could. But also dancing for a company like Alvin Ailey, the expectations are very high, and also you're traveling the world and you're meeting different cultures and seeing that even though you're across the world, everyone is just like you, and so you just want to be your best person for people around the world that are paying to come see you perform for them. And so anywhere we perform, whether it was Ohio or, Greece, performing at the highest level.
And so while dance took you all around the world, you were kind of a representation of American Black people traveling in this kind of company. Talk about how you influenced your audiences.
I think it was good for people to see dance in that way, in that light. I mean, the Ailey company has been around for more than 60 years, and early on in the company's existence, it did a lot of European and performances abroad. But for us, it was sharing the experience of we are Black people dancing, Revelations, which is about, going to church. But we also did things that were neoclassical. So Alvin Ailey is considered a repertory company, so we dance works by many different choreographers of many different genres. And so it allowed the world to see that, Black people are not a monolith. We just don't do hip hop or African dance or this or that, but we do it all like anybody else can do it all. And so I think that was the privilege and the pleasure of representing the company in that way, that it just showed us in very many different lights than what one might just see on TV. There's a lot more to African Americans that's beautiful and excellent and all the things.
And why is it so important to have that kind of representation in this space?
It's just great to see all sides of everyone. We don't want to judge people by the stereotypes that we see. And so it's important that people got to know us as a company, and things like this, people get to know you as an individual, and that, go beyond what you might think of a person, go beyond the stereotypes, go beyond the negativity. It's a powerful, beautiful, positive message that we were putting out into the world, and that we're still putting out into the world, that this is who we are, and we're approachable, and we're wonderful people, and we're elegant, and we're eloquent, and all the things. You know, we're earthy, we get down, but we're so diverse, and we're so complicated and complex. There's so many sides to all of us, and we want to explore and be able to explore all those sides of ourselves and show all those sides of ourselves.
Exactly. And so what is the most challenging aspect of your job?
The most challenging aspect for my job is when I have to say no to a company. I've been a presenter of dance over, 20 years now, and I'm realizing. And you know, there's so many great companies out there, and a lot of great talent that you can't, present everybody. You can't engage everyone, and so the hardest part of my job is having to turn down a company that I really want to present, but maybe it's not the right timing. Maybe they, for whatever reason, it's just not the right moment, and so having to say no is probably the worst part of my job.
And, we can't just focus on the downs. There's also ups to every job. So what's the most rewarding part of what you do?
For me, it's because being a former dancer, I love being able to go to work every night and see dance and see this thing that I love so much and watch dancers, some of who are at the top of their game and doing what they love and doing it so well. But also for me, I get jazzed by seeing the audience show up and having a good time, whether it's a piece that brings you joy or a piece that's dark and thoughtful, that it's hitting them in some way, and then seeing that same audience walk out of the theater and they're talking about it, or a small kid that just saw the show, they're dancing out of the theater. So that's like the best part, seeing how the art form influences and moves people. Yeah.
And the impact is kind of super important in anything that you do. So can you talk a little bit about how dance kind of influences culture daily?
Dance is everywhere. That's why I wish dance was better supported, in the art form that it is, because you wouldn't be able to do musical theater without dance. You wouldn't be able to do there's dance in commercials. Dance is everywhere. So for the performing art of dance, I just wish there was more understanding, that people weren't afraid of, concert dance. It's in everything that we do. And I have a bone to pick, because with the Oscars, there's an award for choreographers in the Oscars. It's the Oscars, right? There should be. You can't do a musical without dance. So why isn't there an award or movie musicals or video for dance? And I think they're about to do an award for stunt people, but not for dance. I don't understand that. So I'm just mad. I just want to put that out there live on TV.
That's a good point, because stunts and choreography, they need each other.
They need each
so
other.
That would be a good.
Yes.
I'd watch for that.
Yes.
Award. What are the most valuable lessons or the deepest insights that you've acquired that you can attribute to pursuing a career in the arts?
I think it's just such an appreciation of the dance. When you're an artist, you really have to be vulnerable. Like, if you're going to be, a really, really thoughtful, putting your art across the footlights, you really have to go sometimes to deep places. And I think for me, just learning to be okay with that vulnerability and not to be afraid of that vulnerability, to show whatever that part is, that role is. And I think in life, we have to be okay with being vulnerable. We have to be okay with sharing when we're upset and we're scared, or when we're happy. Like, it's all okay. Like, we have to be able to be fully expressed as human beings. So I think, when I was a child, believe it or not, I was super shy. I would stay in my room for hours upon hours, just not talking all day. And dance for me brought me out of myself. And so I think the arts for me has just really made me a beautifully formed, fully expressed human being.
I feel like, even piggybacking on that, even informal dance, like line dancing.
Oh, sure, social dancing.
Person,
right?
Get up and
electric
just come
slide,
out of the show. Exactly.
cha-cha step, all these things. You get people moving together as a community, as a group. It's the best feeling. It is.
And so dance can kind of bring people together. To kind of expand on that.
Yeah, absolutely, bring people together. I mean, things like this, Dance Fest. I used to also present dance at an outdoor festival in New York called Summer Stage. It's still going on. And that was free dance performances all across the 5 boroughs, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Harlem, as well as Central Park. And just seeing people coming together of all ethnicities, nationalities, ages, just happening upon this thing that was happening, and just having a collective good time. Like whatever your politics are, whatever your religion, all of that just went away. We're just here to enjoy this movement. And sometimes I would call people on stage to like experience just the movement and dance together. We don't know each other, but we're all learning the same steps and we're dancing. And I just wish, the world could be more like that. Like we just all come together, learn some steps, have a good time, and then go home.
You were talking about how beautiful the weather is. I think you need to bring something like that here to Milwaukee. We need it.
It's here. It's here. You have Dance Fest. I mean, really, how lucky did we get with this weather today? It's beautiful. And this is my third time hosting. And so each time we've been pretty lucky. I mean, last summer was really hot. But this is perfect.
Yeah, Wisconsin's up and down. How did your time with the Philadelphia Dance Company and Alvin Ailey Dance Company prepare you for where you are now?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I grew up in Philadelphia. I'm born and raised Philadelphia, and I started my dance career with a company called Philadanco, the Philadelphia Dance Company. I think I stayed there about 6-7 years before moving on to Alvin Ailey. And so the experience of that, first of all, I had both of those companies both have formidable artistic directors. The current director the founder of Philadelphia Dance Company, she's 94. Joan Myers-Brown, she's a legend, she's an icon, and she's still running that company. And my director at Alvin Ailey was the great Judith Jamison, who we recently lost. So for those two things, first I'll say, watching them as strong Black women leading these companies in all sorts of conditions and the struggles, and just being such great women and great leaders, along with my mom, just informed who I am as a woman. And in my role now as a director of programming at the Joyce, just learning kindness, like being firm and being strong, but also learning kindness. And I think when you're the director of program or even an artistic director, you're dealing with artists, and artists are emotional. We're emotional, and we take such pride and so much passion in what we do. And so, working with those companies and working with all the different choreographers and learning all the different genres of dance while with those two companies has informed my curation and my ability to present, varied companies across the Joyce stage. The Joyce Theater operates 48 weeks out of the year. So I'm having to look at multiple types of companies, but the experience of having danced with two major companies has certainly informed my decisions.
What did being a dancer teach you about yourself? And then now, looking back on the experience, what are you taking away and still have now?
Being a dancer, it's hard because it's hard. It can be hard on your psyche. It can be hard because you're looking in the mirror. You're always comparing yourself to other people. It's about perfection and precision. So some of that I had to undo, to be honest, to be okay with getting a little fluffy, in my 50s, and I had to be okay. But you know what I mean? Like, when you're dancing, you want to be a certain size, and your directors want you to be this and that. And so some of that I did have to undo. And so that's why I'm really happy that there are companies now that are very body positive, and you see different bodies on stage now. And so I really do love that. And I hope there's more and more of that as we go. I'm not saying it's a negative thing to be slim and in shape and for your ballet class, all of these things, but sometimes it can be a little extreme. And so I have to be okay with oh yeah, okay, I'm a little curvy girl. I'm gonna have my fried chicken and ice cream, and it's really okay. But what I did keep with me though is the discipline. Like when you're a dancer, you have to multitask all the time. You're listening to music. You're remembering the choreography. You're remembering your directional spaces. So I think dancers are great administrators because they can multitask and they can do more than one thing at a time. And we just have to remember a lot. So the brain power of dancers, I think, is really high.
That's something that's not talked about enough, is that dancers have transferable skills, not just that the movement of their body, but their minds. Amazing. Of the many roles and projects you've been a part of, like Cry with Alvin Ailey and The Wiz, which had the biggest impact on you as an artist?
Both. Oh my God. So if you don't know, Cry is the seminal female solo in the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater repertoire. It was choreographed by Mr. Ailey as a present for his mother, and the Judith Jamison. It made her a star overnight. She was the first one to ever dance the role, and I had the privilege of being selected by her to dance the role. And for me, it was just that moment of like, not like I've arrived, but I felt so privileged to be one of the handful in the grand scheme of all the women that have come through the Ailey Company to dance that role. And I took it very seriously. I mean, I hope they bring it here when they're here in April, but it's an incredible role. It's 17 minutes on stage, and the role, it goes through a journey. And so it's just a beautiful work. But The Wiz, so I got a chance to present and produce. It introduced that particular show, not the movie, but The Wiz, the original Broadway show, to a whole new generation of young people. And so we packed out Central Park. There were 5,000 people there. We also did a version of Up in Harlem, and it just reintroduced a new generation to that show. The original choreographer, who was the first African-American man to win a Tony Award for choreography. But, you know, I look back to doing Cry for the first time and just feeling so proud of myself that I got the opportunity to perform that role at all.
And it's a beautiful dance. If you haven't had the chance to see it, you gotta see it. I'm sure there's like clips on YouTube.
Yeah, there's videos of Judith Jamison dancing it, also the beloved Donna Wood dancing Cry, and many others. But you know, Judith Jamison she's the genesis of that role, and she's just a queen and forever in my heart.
One more. Milwaukee can often be looked over in the arts space. And you've been here a couple times for Dance Fest. Talk to us a little bit about what it's like being here. You know, a lot of people downplay Milwaukee, but it's not a small place. It's a great place to be, in my opinion.
It's a great place to be. It's some great food, some great music. But it's been great for me to see Dance Fest grow. I know it started in 2019 and then the pandemic. And then I got to come back when they restarted it. And so to see it grow like this secondary stage, the vendors, the level of company. Actually, Ailey II did the very first Dance Fest in 2019. So to see Ailey II back with their new dancers and just to see it grow. I mean, look at this. This is really incredible. So I feel really proud to be invited back for the third time to host it and just see the dancers and just see, you know, the city again and discover new things, the waterfront more this time. I'm staying right across the street this time. It's a great hotel. So yeah, it's just been great. And I look forward to doing more.
Lots more with Dance Fest
Lots
to come.
more.
But thank you for joining us for this conversation. Thank you for having this conversation with me, Danny G.
Thank you, Zoe.
It's been an honor.
No breaking news.
No, not in the moment. I also haven't checked my phone yet. But.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting Dance Fest. And we'll see you at 7:30. But please stick around for the
Fest, and I would like to welcome you to Dance Fest 2025. Clap for yourselves. Here we are, first show of the night. Who's ready to see some dance? Okay, all right, well, let me invite my beautiful friend from the Luna Bellas. Let's get away from the mic. From the speaker. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dolany, and we are the Luna Bellas. I'm going to have my girls come right up on the stage just so you can see them as I tell you guys a little bit about the Luna Bellas. By teaching our girls community service, so we do a lot of volunteering. A lot of our girls are in the honor society system.